Are you an immigrant with legal status in the United States, wondering if Trump can really deport you? The shocking answer for many people in this situation is actually yes. In this video, we're breaking down his plans to remove over 1 million legal immigrants from America. You'll learn who's at risk, why this matters, and what you can do to protect yourself. And we're starting right now. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're considering applying. And listen, I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview with USCIS for multiple years. Let me know in the comments how long you've been waiting. Donald Trump has made his intentions crystal clear. He plans to carry out what he calls the largest deportation operation in American history. But here's what's different this time. He's not just targeting undocumented immigrants. He's going after people who are here legally through programs created by the Biden administration. Let me tell you about Emily, a lawyer from Venezuela, whose story is detailed in a recent article by the magazine The New Yorker. Now, when government agents broke into her house looking for her husband, who was a former police officer who had refused to arrest pro-democracy protesters, well, they beat her in front of her children. After that, she lived in hiding, moving from house to house until she could come to America through a legal program called humanitarian parole. Now, Trump wants to deport Emily and her family, along with about 500,000 other people who came legally through similar programs from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. It's called the CHNV program, for the initials of the countries whose nationals can benefit from it. Trump also plans to deport another 800,000 people who entered legally using the CBP-1 application, a system that lets people schedule appointments at the border to request asylum in an orderly way. The program, CBP-1, was designed to reduce chaos at the border and allow for better vetting of migrants. The CHNV program similarly involved significant vetting and had people arriving by airplane rather than at the southern border. And no, the US government did not pay for those flights. The beneficiaries or their sponsors in the United States had to foot that bill. Now, these humanitarian parole programs were designed to create structured, manageable pathways for people who were likely to attempt entering the US anyway, given conditions in their home countries. They allowed for better vetting and tracking than would be possible with either impromptu asylum requests at ports of entry or illegal border crossings. For the CHNV program specifically, the Biden administration recognized that citizens of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela were fleeing difficult conditions and would continue attempting to reach the US. So, creating an orderly process made more sense than leaving them with riskier alternatives. And the programs worked exactly as intended. Border crossings dropped dramatically. But Trump and his allies don't care about that success. They've promised to end these programs and even deport everyone who used them, even though these folks currently have legal immigration status. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Listen, anti-immigrant sentiment is reaching frightening levels across the country. In Missouri, lawmakers want to create a bounty hunter program to track down immigrants. They're proposing to pay people $1,000 for reporting their neighbors who they suspect might be undocumented. This kind of policy encourages racial profiling and tears communities apart. And Trump's vice president-elect, J.D. Vance, even wants to target people with temporary protected status, known as TPS. When asked about Haitian immigrants in Ohio, most of whom are here legally under TPS, Vance insisted that they're illegal because he thinks they never should have gotten TPS in the first place. He's spreading dangerous misinformation about these communities, including debunked claims about Haitians supposedly eating pets. And Trump appears to endorse ending TPS and even taking it away from people who currently have it. Referencing Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, he told a reporter, "Absolutely, I'd revoke it, and I'd bring them back to their country." Here's the thing. What makes all of this especially frustrating is that we know immigrants strengthen America. So take Texas, for example. In 2006, the state conducted a study that found undocumented immigrants alone contributed $1.6 billion in state revenues, exceeding the $1.2 billion in services they received. The study was so conclusive about immigrants' positive impact that Texas hasn't updated it since. They're afraid of their own data because it doesn't match their anti-immigrant rhetoric. So consider Manuel from Nicaragua, who came legally through Biden's parole program and whose story is also told in the New Yorker article that I referenced earlier. He and his family fled after facing harassment for participating in pro-democracy protests. "I'm trying to do everything I can to follow the laws and procedures of this country," he says. But going back now would be even more dangerous. The dictatorship views anyone who's lived in America as a potential enemy of the state. Manuel and people like him are at real risk of grave harm if their legal status here is stripped. And listen, these aren't isolated cases. Every day at my law firm, we meet people who came here legally, followed every rule, built lives here, and now face the prospect of being torn away from everything they've worked for. Many have US citizen children. They own homes, they run businesses, they have social security numbers, they pay taxes, they're building a life here. Listen, if you might be affected by these policies we're talking about today, here's what you need to know. First, if you're currently in the US under humanitarian parole or TPS and you fear being harmed if returned to your country, well, you should consider applying for asylum immediately if you haven't already applied. A pending asylum application may protect you from deportation, even if your parole or TPS status is revoked. Plus, you can get a work permit while your asylum claim is pending. And that's important because if your parole or TPS status is taken away, you won't be able to work legally on a work permit that was issued under one of those bases. Okay, second, gather and safeguard all your important documents. This includes any proof of the harm that you faced in your country, evidence of your legal entry to the United States, and documentation of your life here. Things like tax returns, work records, and medical records. So scan them and keep digital copies in the cloud in case you need them later. Third, understand that travel outside the US could be risky right now. Even if you have legal status, you don't want to risk being abroad if policies suddenly change. We saw this happen with Trump's Muslim ban. People with valid visas were suddenly stranded overseas. Listen, the scale of what Trump is proposing would devastate communities across America. We're talking about deporting potentially over 1 million people who are here legally. Think about the impact. Parents separated from US citizen children, critical industries losing essential workers, whole neighborhoods emptied out. And let's be clear, this isn't just about immigration policy. It's about America's values and promises. Many of these people fled desperate situations, dictatorship, violence, persecution. They came through legal channels that our government created. They built lives here, contributed to our communities, paid taxes, started businesses, and all the rest. The sad irony is that many of these immigrants represent exactly what critics claim to want. They came the so-called right way. They're working hard, they're following the laws, yet they're still being targeted. Listen, don't wait until it's too late to protect yourself and your family. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then please call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's truly an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.